friends, it's Morah Mushkie again. Welcome back to another week of Brachot. We're all done with our first two Brachot, Hamotzi and Mizonot, and now we're ready to start learning a brand new Bracha. I bet you're excited. I am. So before we start singing our song, I'm just going to give you a little clue so you can try and guess which Bracha it is. And the clue is this new kind of food, this new Bracha that we're going to learn this week, is something that grows on a tree. All right, so keep that clue in your head, and while we're singing our song, you can try and think and guess if you might know what kind of food it is, and then after our song, I'll tell you for real, and then you'll see if you got the right thing. All right, ready to sing? 1, 2, 3, go. Let's say a bracha, let's say a bracha, before we start to chew. Let's say a bracha, let's say a bracha, show that you are a grateful Jew. Let's say a bracha, let's say a bracha, before we start to chew. Let's say a bracha, let's say a bracha, show that you are a grateful Jew. Hamotzi mizonot, right, we did those two already. Hamotzi mizonot shehakol ha'adama and Haetz are meant to thank Hashem for all the food that He creates, delivered from the east and west and from the north and south, right into your mouth. All right, were you thinking about that clue while you were singing along so nicely to that song? Well, I wonder if you thought of what it could be. Because, right, all the brachot in the song are Hamotzi, Mizonot, Shehakol, Ha'adama, and Haetz. And we already did Hamotzi and Mizonot. That means that the only ones left are Shehakol, Ha'adama, and Haetz. So if you speak Hebrew at home, you might be figuring out which one has to do with a tree. But first, do you know what kind of food grows on a tree? It's a kind of food that's usually sweet. It has a peel around the outside. Sometimes you might have it for a snack, or you could have it for dessert, or you could put it inside a salad, or you could put it even inside a pie or a cake or a cookie. Should I tell you what kind of food we're going to learn about now and which bracha it's going to be? All right, I'll tell you. You ready? The new bracha that we're going to learn is called Borei Peri Haetz. And you know what kind of food that is? Let me show you, I bet you can guess. What are these two? This is an orange, and this one's an apple. And you know what kind of food they are? These are fruit. And fruit always grow on a tree, so fruit always has the bracha Haetz. Because you know what Haetz means? Haetz means tree. That's easy to remember, right? If something grows on a tree, it has the bracha Haetz. So, an apple grows on a tree. You know how you can tell? There's that little piece there that used to be attached to the tree. That's called the stem. And an orange grows on a tree. You know how you can tell here? It doesn't have the stem sticking out on this one. Some of them do, but that's where the stem was. They cut it off right there. And this has the peel, but if I took it off, what would be inside? What's under the peel here? The fruit, right? Well, this whole thing is the fruit. The part that you can eat is underneath the peel of the orange, and the apple you can eat the peel too. So there are so many yummy kind of fruits that Hashem made, and they all have the bracha Borei Peri Haetz, and they all grow on a tree. You want to get out your tree picture over here? We're going to use this soon. But first, let's look at some other pictures of fruits growing on trees, because there are so many kinds of fruit and so many kinds of fruit trees. You might not see them so much in New York City, because you know where the fruit trees usually are? They're usually growing outside of cities, in the countryside, on farms. If you ever went to an apple orchard, orchards are places that have a lot of fruit trees, and that's where the farmers grow all our fruit. And then when the fruit gets ripe and it's ready to be picked off the tree, the farmer picks it, and then he gives it to the truck drivers, and truck drivers drive it all the way to the cities, and that's where it goes to the grocery store or the fruit stand, and that's where we can buy it. So let's have a look what the fruit look like when they're growing on the trees, because it might look a little different than what it looks like when it comes to your house, right? Here I have a sticker on it. Do you think it grows with a sticker? No. Do you think it grows with a stem? That's always attached. All right, let's have a look. The first one that we're going to look at is an apple tree. An apple like this came from a tree like that. You think we can attach it on? Let's try and hang it from one of the branches. Nope, I think it's going to fall off. Should we pick it? All right, ready? Can you hold on to the apple? Don't pull too hard, otherwise more apples are going to come off. We only want one apple. Ready, set, pull. Oh, good, you got it. All right, let's put it aside for our snack later on. So here is our apple tree. You see apples grow on a really big tree. You see there's a strong trunk and big branches and lots of apples. If you want to get the apples all the way high up there, you're going to need a tall ladder, or you might need to climb a tree. But when the farm workers pick the apples off of the tree, they might need to get a really tall ladder so they can get them all off. But those apples look super yummy. Should we take a bite and feel like crunchy apples? Delish. Let's see what's next. Oh, this is a fun fruit also. This kind of fruit is getting ripe now because it's getting warmer outside. This is called a cherry. Cherries are super yum too. They grow on trees as well. Not such tall trees as apple trees, but still pretty tall. And should we try and pick some cherries off of the tree? All right, I want to get that bunch. Ready? Let's pick them off carefully. Can we eat them? Let's make the bracha. Borei peri Haetz. Those are really good. And this is a fun fruit that's also getting ripe now these days. These are apricots or apricots, depending on how you say it. They're pretty small. They're a little bigger than cherries, but much smaller than apple. And they grow and they're very soft on the outside and soft on the inside too. Not crunchy like an apple, and they're super sweet and delicious. And let's see what's next. Ooh, this is a fun fruit. This is called a pomegranate. You know when we eat a pomegranate usually? You can eat it whenever you'd like, but we especially like to eat it on Rosh Hashanah. That's right, on the Jewish New Year. It's a special food to eat then because it has so many seeds inside, just like we like to do so many mitzvot, and we want Hashem to give us so many special new things in the new year. But pomegranates are fun to eat any time of the year. It's cool because it looks like the bottom of the pomegranate, really it's the top, but it's pointing down here. It kind of looks like it's wearing a crown. That has the Bracha Haetz as well because it's growing on a tree. And, oh, this is a cool one. Do you guys know what this is? You see this fruit here that's growing on a tree? These are called figs. Figs are a yummy fruit too. And you know what? Pomegranates and figs grow in Israel. They grow in other places, but they especially grow in Israel. And if you open them on the inside, they have some sweet fruit to eat. You could eat the peel, but it's better to eat the inside. And they're really yummy. Let's see what else could be growing on a tree. Oh, this is a fun one too. I wonder if you guys ever had this one before. These are kiwis. Kiwis grow all the way up on a tree. See those branches as well? You see how the kiwis are attached to the branches with little stems? That's how they grow. And because they're also growing on a tree, they also have the bracha, Borei peri Haetz. That's cool. And, ooh, I wonder what else. Hashem made so many kinds of yummy fruit. Let's see. This is another summer fruit that's getting ripe now. These are peaches. And peaches, this one is a kind of a baby tree. It's not fully grown yet. But when the peach tree is all grown, it's going to be as big as the apple one. Let's see the apple one again. See how it's a really big tree? When the peach tree is all grown up, then it's going to be just as big as that apple one. And what else? Which fruit do you think is going to be next? Let's see. Oh, plums. Plums are yummy too. These are a purple kind of plums. Sometimes plums are really dark. Sometimes they could even be yellow. And they can be really nice and sweet on the inside. They have a pit in the middle that you can cut around it if you want to eat just part of the plum, or if you bite into it, you can eat all the way around it. And they have the Bracha Haetz too. All right, let's see what's next. Oh, this is a fun one, guys. I bet you won't be expecting to see this in a list of fruit, but I'll tell you why this really is a fruit. Do you know what this is a picture of? These are actually avocados. Yep, avocados also grow on a tree. So really, even though they're not sweet, remember, not all fruit are sweet. Apples and oranges are sweet, and a lot of other fruit that we like to eat a lot is sweet, but some fruit are not sweet. Like avocados are not sweet. And let me show you another one that's not sweet. That's right, lemons. Lemons are fruit. They do have the Bracha Haetz and they grow on a tree, but they're not sweet. They're actually sour. They're a bitter taste. If you eat them, you're just plain without anything else, you might make this kind of face like that because they're really sour. But they're super yummy if you want to mix them with other things, if you want to make like a salad dressing or lemon flavored ice cream or cookies or cake, that's really good to have too. All right, let's see another kind of fruit. Do you think it's going to be a sweet fruit or a sour fruit? Or like the avocados, they're not sweet or sour, they're savory. All right, let's have a look. What's it going to be? It's an orange tree, just like the orange we have here. That is similar to the lemon ones, because the lemon ones. They're both citrus fruit, but the oranges are much, much sweeter than the lemons. The oranges could be super duper sweet. If you ever had orange juice, you know that's a really sweet thing. Yum. And all right, 2 more fruits over here, and then I'll show you what we're going to do next. So this is a fun one as well. You know what these are? These are pears. Can you see the pear tree with the branches and all the leaves? And of course, there is the little stem and the pear hanging down. Should we try and pick the pear? Let's pick the ones that have a lot of red on it, because that means these ones are ripe, all right? I'm going to pick this one right over here, okay? Don't pick mine. You pick a different one, okay? Otherwise, we'll have to pick the same one at the same time, and then it might get lost. All right, 1, 2, 3. Okay, great. I got a pear. Let's make the Bracha Haetz and eat it. Baruch ata borei peri haetz. That was nice and crunchy too. Sometimes pears are really crunchy and sometimes they're soft. Depends on what kind they are. And for our last one, this is a cute little fruit that grows on a bush actually, not a big tree. A small kind of tree called a bush. These are blueberries. Have you guys ever had blueberries before? I bet you have. They're a yummy fruit too. All right, so now that we did all those fruit and we saw there are so many kinds of fruit that grow on trees, and they all have the bracha borei peri haetz, which is the bracha that we make to thank Hashem for making all the yummy kind of fruit trees. Let's have a look at our paper over here. Hey, I see a picture of a tree. And you know what the words over here say? Fruit, that's what we're talking about, grows on a tree and has the bracha haetz, right? Because like a eitz means tree in Hebrew. Can you draw your favorite fruits growing on the tree? So should we do that, guys? All right, let's give it a go. I'm going to try to see if I can draw backwards so that you guys can see it at the same time, all right? But you can take out your fruit paper and you can draw your favorite fruit. Think about all the ones that we just looked at, or you could think about ones that you see in your house, right? We saw them growing on the tree or on a bush and how they look like there, but you can think about any of the fruits that you know, anything that's that grows on a tree. If you're not sure, you can ask your grown-ups if it's a fruit, if it has the Bracha Haetz. So first, I'm going to take a red pen and I'm going to draw a little apple on there, all right? Let me see if I can draw it backwards. Here it is. Can you see my apple? Let me color it in so you can see it better. There we go. There's my apple, and let me also draw an orange. All right, let me try coloring the orange better so you can see it even more. I'm gonna draw an orange. It's gonna be nice and sweet, and it's gonna be haetz because it's growing on a tree. Here we go. There's an apple and an orange. This is a little different than real life, right? Because in real life, can there be apples and oranges growing on the same tree? That wouldn't work. Each of the pictures that we looked at, they just had one kind of fruit growing on them, right? Like this one just had cherries and this one just had a pomegranate. But since this is your pretend picture, you can draw as many kinds as you like growing on your tree, all right? And then at the end, you can ask your grown-up to write what your favorite kind is. If your favorite fruit is just one kind of fruit, you can just draw one. Or if your favorite fruit is a lot of them, then you can draw a lot of kinds. I'm going to write apples and oranges because that's what I drew. Apples. See, I wrote apples and oranges. Oranges. So those are my favorite fruit. All right, I can't wait to hear about what your favorite fruit are. Tomorrow we're going to talk about more things about Haetz, and then we'll get to learn even more things about fruit growing on trees and how this cool bracha works. See you then.